All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Your morning daily dose of conservatism, your morning coffee here on TikTok. Premier Venerable host, James Paul Von Helden, Master of the Mystic Arts, Sorcerer Supreme, Demon Slayer, and part-time Hurricane Destroyer. And now Bubble Burster. Anyways, but it is morning coffee on TikTok, and you are here, and I am here, and we are all together, as the Beatles used to sing. But anyways, an absolute idiocy has occurred that I have to report, sadly. The Democrats were able to get 4 Republicans to stupidly side with them and pass a bill on the House floor prohibiting Trump from stopping Iran from making a nuclear weapon. I'm just going to let that sit there and simmer in your mind for a few seconds. The Democrats got 4 Republicans to side with them and pass a bill that prohibits Donald John Trump from stopping Iran from making a nuclear weapon. They say, well, Vaughn, that means the Democrats want Iran to make a nuclear weapon. Yeah, yes, it does. Because if you're going to prohibit him from doing so, that means you want Iran to make a nuclear weapon. I mean, what other conclusion can I draw from that, right? If you're going to pass legislation that stops Trump from stopping Iran from making a nuclear weapon, that means you want Iran to make a nuclear weapon, which means you want Iran to nuke Israel, which means you want World War III, because that's what you're going to get. If Iran nukes Israel with a nuclear weapon, which they've already threatened to do numerous times, publicly and privately, by the way, if Iran nukes Israel, it will start World War III. Not maybe, not kinda, not coulda, shoulda, woulda. It will start World War III. So the Democrats have channeled Albert Pike and Frank Parsons and Aleister Crowley and said, oh, hell yes, we want a World War III as an homage to our demon lords, Moloch and Hubal. I mean, what other thing can I come up with from this? What other thing can I say to this other than that? Well, I can't, because it's the absolute truth. Albert Pike, folks, for those of you that don't know, wrote a book called Morals and Dogma. And he wrote that book years and years and years ago. All right, and in that book, he said that there must be 3 world wars. Why? To appease their demon overlords. Blood sacrifice. Which is what these world wars have been. World War I and World War II were blood sacrifices, according to Albert Pike, who was a high-level Freemason of the 33rd degree. And he stated quite clearly that they serve Lucifer and that they need these 3 world wars in order to foment, I guess, their continuing reign of power and Lucifer's reign of power on this earth and all that good stuff. And by the way, let me be clear that the Luciferians and the Satanists are not the same people. Let's just be clear on that, because a lot of people get that confused, but they're not. All right, so anyway, moving on. So the Democrats got 4 Republicans to side with them and pass legislation that will prohibit Donald John Trump from stopping Iran from making a nuclear weapon. Which means Iran will make a nuclear weapon because Donald John Trump is not able to stop them. Right? Yeah, logic. Hello, simple logic here. This is not rocket science. This is simple logic. If you're passing legislation that prohibits Donald John Trump from stopping Iran from making a nuclear weapon, that means you want Iran to make a nuclear weapon. Common sense here. And they got 4 Republicans to stupidly go along with it. And Iran has stated numerous times, publicly and privately, that if they get a nuclear weapon, they will nuke Israel. Not maybe, not kinda, not coulda, shoulda, woulda. They will nuke Israel, which of course will start World War III. Well, I don't want World War III. A lot of people that I know don't want World War III. The ETs don't want World War III. The gods and goddesses don't want World War III. But the Democrats on the House floor and 4 stupid Republicans do want nuclear war. They do want a World War III. They have somehow channeled Aleister Crowley, Frank Parsons, and Albert Pike and said, oh, yeah, World War III would be a great idea. That's exactly what they've done, isn't it? Yeah. Let Iran get a nuclear weapon so that they can nuke Israel and start World War III. I mean, that's essentially what they're saying. We've got to stop Trump from stopping Iran from making a nuclear weapon. That's basically it in a nutshell. I mean, what else can I conclude? Right? Yeah. Well, I don't want World War III. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't want World War III. So, I don't know. Are they not listening to their constituents? No, they couldn't be. I guarantee you I can go to any Democrat right now and say, hey, do you want to be nuked tomorrow? They'll say no. I'm pretty sure they'll say no. Even though they're a Democrat and I'm a conservative, I'm not a Republican, but I am a conservative. But even though they're a liberal, I'm a conservative. I'm pretty sure if I walked up to somebody tomorrow and said, "Hey, do you want to be nuked?" I'm pretty sure they'll say no. Okay, so whose brainchild is? I gotta find out whose brainchild this is. This bill that was put on the House floor. Because obviously they're not listening to their constituents now, are they? Because I'm pretty sure no matter what Democratic state I go to, no one is going to get in my face and say, yes, Vaughn, by the gods, I want to be nuked tomorrow. No, nobody's going to say that. No one. Okay, so this is premier level insanity is what this is. That's exactly what this is. And that's the only thing it can be. All right? It's the only thing it can be. But, well, who was it that was reporting that this morning? Was that Newswire? I think it was Newswire that was reporting it this morning. Yeah, man. They passed that shit on the House floor, knowing full well that it is well documented that Iran says, if we get a bomb, we will nuke Israel. They've stated it time and time and time again. And they absolutely believe that. They absolutely intend to do that. Okay? This is not up for debate. Okay? Iran, if they get a nuclear weapon, has stated numerous times, publicly and privately, they will nuke Israel if they get a nuclear weapon. Whether it be a dirty bomb, whether it be an ICBM, whether it be some other kind of missile or weapon, they will use it on Israel. They have already said so. Okay, this is not a game. This is not a joke. Iran is not fucking around. They mean what they say. They fully intend to do what they say they're going to do. So once again, we now have the fear of being nuked over our heads yet again, thanks to the Democrats in the House. Now, Vaughn, but it still has to go to the Senate yet, right? Yes, correct. It still has to go to the Senate, and hopefully the Senate will take a big fly swatter and swat it down. But if they do not, and it somehow slips through the Senate, well, then we're in deep shit, aren't we? Once again, let me remind you, and remind everyone, okay? You got that jet stream up there, and you got this Gulf Stream down here. And this jet stream up here and this Gulf Stream down here are going to take that nuclear radiation and it's going to spread it all over the globe. There will be nowhere where you can escape nuclear radiation. Nowhere. Well, Von Helton, by God, I'll hide under an underground bunker. And that radiation will burrow right through the ground and will get to you. Now, granted, it'll take a while. You're right. It'll take maybe even years. But it will eventually get to you. Yes, it will. Because that's what it does. It just keeps going and keeps going again. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Supposedly now they're saying even lead doesn't stop it. It just makes it go real slow. But it doesn't really stop it. Eventually it'll even go through lead. It just takes a long, long, long time to do so. But do you understand? If these stupid idiots on the House floor yesterday get their way, we're all going to die. For real. Not something that I made up in my mind. We're really going to die. Because if Iran nukes Israel, that radiation will spread all over the Middle East, and it'll be picked up by the Gulf Stream and the jet stream, which will spread it all over the rest of the world. Period. End of story. Okay? This is not Von Helton bloviating. This is not Von Helton making things up. This is what will really, really happen. Okay? It cannot be allowed. This cannot be allowed to happen. This cannot be allowed to happen. Iran is a rogue state. Just ask Saudi Arabia. They're a rogue state. They have absolutely no problem nuking Israel. None. Zero. They've said it publicly. They've said it privately. Saudi Arabia has stated, hey, these guys are serious. They're not joking. Other countries have chimed in and said, yeah, these guys are serious. They're not kidding. Okay? This is not a joke. This is not a game. Now, you Democrats that put them fools in the House there, you better be calling them and telling them, hey, I don't want to be glowing like a light bulb, okay? I mean, that might be kind of cool for the first few seconds that I live, but then I die and then it just kind of sucks, right? So yeah, let's not all be glowing like a light bulb here within a week or a month or whatever it takes. That's a bad thing. All right, that's a bad thing. Let's not be doing that shit. Anyways, I just thought I'd get on here and tell you because most of you probably didn't even know, did you? Yeah, they passed that motherfucker in the dark of night, didn't they? It seems like, doesn't it? Because there wasn't a whole lot of fanfare about that shit, was there? Because they know. I'm telling you, I go to any Democrat out here and I said, hey, do you want to be nuked tomorrow? They're going to say no. They're not going to say yes. They're going to say no. So are these people listening to their constituents? No. No, they're not. The height of insanity, folks, just when you thought things were finally calming the fuck down, now we're back into this shit again. And the beautiful thing about it is, you can't blame it on the Republicans this time because it was the damn Democrats that did it. Of course, they got 4 Republicans to stupidly go along with them. So here we are. Golly. You know, unbelievable. Hey, do you want to glow like a light bulb? Oh, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Of course I do. No, nobody is going to say that. No one is that fucking stupid. No one. At least I hope to God not. Anyways, I have to report on it because it's news and because it seems to me like, I mean, I never heard anything either. So it sounds like they kind of snuck this sucker in the dark of night or some shit. But they got 4 Republicans to side with them, which is a bad thing. You know, I mean, folks, it doesn't take much research, okay? Anybody should be able to get on the internet and Google Iran makes death threats to Israel and the United States. You put that in a Google search, it'll bring you up tons and tons and tons of links. Okay? These people are not playing. They are serious. If they get a nuclear weapon, they will nuke Israel. It will start World War III, and we're all going to end up dead. Well, I don't like that idea. I don't like that idea, and I'm pretty sure most of you that are watching me don't like that idea. So call your congressman, call your senator, and say, hey, what in the hell are you guys thinking? We don't need World War III. We don't want World War III, and you are not representing me when you get on the House floor saying that World War III sounds like a great idea. Right? Yeah. So, I have to report on it this morning because it's news. And like I said, it seems to me like they snuck it in the dark of night because I never caught anything about this yet either. So it seems to me like they slipped it under the table or something. Anyway, I have to report on it. Now, like I said, hopefully the Senate will swat it down with a big-ass fly swatter, and that'll be the end of that. But maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know when it's going on the Senate floor. Hopefully today, and then that way we'll know something by tomorrow. But this is just absolute insanity. Absolute insanity is reigning in the Democrat Party in the House last night and this morning. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here and win. But I wanted to let you know, because you have a right to know. Especially something like this. Okay, you have a right to know. You have a right to know that the Democrats are perfectly okay with Iran getting a nuclear weapon. Because, I mean, that's essentially what this legislation is about. The legislation is literally to stop Trump from stopping Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. I mean, it literally is. No bullshit. Okay? So if Trump cannot stop Iran from getting a weapon, then that means Iran will get a weapon, which means Iran will use it on Israel, which will start World War III. I mean, what else can I say? What else do you want me to say? I mean, that's it. Okay? So I have brought you this information because I can, because I should, and because you have a right to know. Particularly if we all get blown to bits, right? All right, anyway, y'all have a wonderful day and better tomorrow. Bye.